Welcome to the TSD Mindfulness video for teaching number 13. So the teachings that we're talking about now are the products of the temperamental body, and teaching number 13 is the gut field operates on survival instinct and produces a binary response of preserved and unpreserved. So when we better understand the fields of the temperamental body, the mental field, the gut field, and the heart field, then we better understand how we operate and how we can improve the relationships, our relationships with the people and the things and the ideas in our lives. The gut field was created to keep us alive. So survival is really the chief responsibility of the gut field. Physical survival is the top priority, but surviving emotionally is also a concern of the nervous system, and egotistically having the ego survive is also a concern of the nervous system. The gut field is pretty simplistic in nature compared to the mental field. The mental field is very complex. It operates in a lot of different ways. It reflects on the past, looks into the future, very complex. But the gut field is very simplistic. It's actually more like an alarm. Either the alarm is sounding off or the alarm is off. Either the alarm is running, it's loud, or there's no alarm and it's quiet. Very, very simple. So yeah, the gut field offers these two responses, and one is everything's preserved, we're good, or the other response is no, not everything is preserved. There's big change ahead. We need to be careful. This isn't right. Something is wrong, something of that nature. The gut field produces a response that is binary, either yes or no. So not only is it either the alarm on or the alarm's off, also the instinct, the response is either, do this action or don't do this action. Very, very binary in nature. The temperamental body makes these responses apparent to your consciousness in a variety of ways. Most common are physical. For example, a pain in your gut, or the butterflies in your stomach, or tightness in your stomach. So when our nervous system is triggered, the first place we usually feel it on a physical level is in our abdomen area. We'll actually feel some tightness there. As the trigger develops and maybe gets more intense, we might feel that move up more towards our chest, and we might even feel it coming up to our throat. But usually begins right there in the gut area. And it's important to be able to tune into that early on before it does get really intense. Of course, we can sit with it and use mindfulness to help us when it gets more intense, but it is nice to be able to catch it early on. The other response can be intellectual. The gut field can instigate thought. So when our nervous system is triggered, our thinking actually changes. The way our brain works actually changes. We're cut off from certain higher level type thinking processes in our brain. But just on a simple level, we start thinking certain thoughts like, I can't do this, I shouldn't do this, or I need to do this, or those type of thoughts like, oh no, this is not good. You notice your thinking that comes up. The responses might also be emotional. So when our nervous system is triggered, our response might be more emotional. We might start experiencing emotions of fear, of worry. So again, when our nervous system is triggered, when we have this gut trigger, the response is either a combination or one of these: physical, intellectual, cognitive, or thinking, or emotional. So I wanted to talk about gut decisions. So this is a concept that a lot of people think about. Oh, trust your gut, make a gut decision. And so that is different than what I'm talking about here. So how is that different? So in TSD, a gut decision is literally you making a decision to do something because you're in fight or flight, freeze or fawn, right? Your nervous system is triggered, so your operating in a certain way because of that, which isn't always great. A lot of those responses, a lot of them are trauma responses. Paying attention and following through with what our nervous system is telling us to do is not always the best action to take. I mean, sometimes it is. If you're in the middle of the road and there's a truck coming and your nervous system triggers and you tells you to get out of the road, obviously that's going to be really good. But sometimes when the gut gets triggered, the instinct that you feel that you need to do is not the best choice. An example might be maybe you need to become emotionally vulnerable with your partner, and that feels really scary. And your nervous system response is no, just close up, close down. But really, the best thing to do is open up and talk about your emotions. So, following your gut in TSD is not necessarily the best action. So if you're using that term, following your gut, that's more maybe intuition, might even be more associated with the heart, which we'll talk about in later videos. And that is the conclusion of teaching number 13 of the TSD Mindfulness teachings.